Today's news. Judge not entitled to comment on disputed judgment, as he says. Republican prosecutor's office releases statement on Bakhtiar Hadjiyev. European court investigates Azad Look editor's appeal.
The media frenzy over our ruling on Aynullah Fatullayev has provoked uninformed discussion of the case. We have made a decision. The original judgment by Garadag District Court has been upheld, Baku Appeals Court Judge Mirpasha Husseinov told Media Forum website. In response to a question about a ruling which was made outside of working hours and the court's refusal to allow Fatullayev and his lawyers to speak, Husseinov said that he could not comment. Judicial protocol prevents me from answering these questions. A judgment has been passed, and if Fatullayev is disappointed, he can go to the Supreme Court. The appeals court judgment will be delivered to Fatullayev and his lawyers within the period indicated by the legislation. This judgment will include my assessment of the case, said Husseinov. On January 25th, Judge Husseinov rejected the appeal of imprisoned journalist Aynullah Fatullayev against the Garadag District Court's judgment on his case. The decision, made in a hearing where serious legal violations occurred, rules that the duration of Fatulayev's prison sentence is to be calculated from July 6, 2010. During the court session, Fatullayev and his lawyer Anar Gazimov were not allowed to speak, nor were journalists allowed to take photos or videos. In 2007, Aynullah Fatullayev, editor-in-chief of Realny Azerbaijan and Gundelek Azerbaijan newspapers, was sentenced to 8.5 years in jail for threatening terrorism along with other charges. However, the European Court of Human Rights has issued a final and absolute ruling for his innocence, and has demanded his immediate release as well as financial compensation. The Azerbaijani Supreme Court plenum has not fully implemented this ruling. The journalist is currently in prison under drug possession charges that are widely agreed to have been fabricated. The prosecutor's office has released a new statement on the former parliamentary candidate, youth activist Bakhtiar Hadjiyev. The statement, posted on their official website, says that Hadjiyev was entitled to defer his military service while he was in full-time education, but now that he is no longer in education, he is bound to complete his national service. His right to deferment ended on June 30, 2006, and he failed to report to the Ganja City Nizami District Military Commissariat. The statement goes on to say that Hadjiyev passed his medical examination in July and was deemed eligible for military service, and so his name was added to the list of 2010 October conscripts. He did not report for service. The statement concludes that a criminal case has been launched against Hadjiyev for the evasion of military service and that an investigation is underway. Hadjiyev has responded to the statement with an appeal to the General Prosecutor, Zakir Gardarov. The appeal argues that the prosecutor's office case is full of inaccuracies. I paid a number of visits to the military commissariat between 2006 and 2010, and I provided the necessary documents from Kazar and Harvard universities, and they were put in my file. At this moment, there are military service age employees working at the President's office and youth representatives in the Azerbaijani parliament, all of whom have deferred their military service between 2006 and 2010. Why am I being singled out for criminalization? The European Court of Human Rights opened an investigation of the appeal by editor-in-chief of Azadlik Freedom newspaper, Ganimat Zahid, who is appealing against a hooliganism conviction. Back in November of 2007, the appeals court sentenced him to 2 months of pretrial detention. The European Court has already filed an inquiry with the Azerbaijani government. In 2007, Zahid was detained under a charge of hooliganism, widely agreed to have been a fabrication. Though the charge did not include an assumption of public threat, Zahid was sentenced to pretrial detention. He was eventually convicted both for hooliganism with intentional infliction of minor bodily harm and regular hooliganism, and given a 4-year sentence. In March of last year, he was officially pardoned by President Ilham Aliyev.